Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russ here from Porky's Corner, the biggest gob in sport. We say the things on here that nobody dare say. Can I give a big shout out to Welcome Estates owner Gary and his www.boxersinneed.com appeal, which is going strong. Well done, Gary, for putting your hand in your pocket and giving something back like you've been doing for years at Chadderton Boxing Club. So well done, Gary. Give yourself a good pat on the back. Also, I'd like to give a big shout out to Porky's International, our sister channel that I currently started recently with our tech guy, Cameron. So well done to that. Let's get this. I think I pressed the wrong button here. Here we go. Right. Okay, doke. Bit late, innit? I've been to the old dog racing. I'm never back to winning in my life. I'm never gonna. Right, here we go. Let's have a little look at what's been going on here. Let's have a little look, shall we? Let's have a little look. Daddy Don, the Daddy Don Charles. That's what we call him in our house. Daddy Don. He dropped on Daniel Dubois, hasn't he? And he's been given an IBF belt via email. Have I got a problem with that? No. Does it make the sport look stupid? Yeah, I tend to agree with Carl Froch on this, for the simple reason that Usyk, he had all 6 belts, didn't he? Right. They just couldn't wait to get at least one of them off him, could they? You know, like they did to Tyson Fury. The first belt to go with the IBF, wasn't it? You know, they say the WBC is We Be Crooks, but the IBF's not really that far behind them, is it really? We all remember what happened, don't we, in the 80s, don't we? You know, when the FBI investigated the IBF, and for the rest of the IBF's life, the FBI of America, please, they have to look at their books every year now and keep an eye on them. But why don't the FBI just have a word with them and say, here, what's all this here taking belts off people? Usyk won them belts fair and square. He had to beat Joshua twice, didn't he? He had to beat him twice, and yet that belt still got freed up, didn't it? But you know what? Usyk in the end, he just said, here, take it. Look, the fans know, don't we? The fans on. They gave us it for 1 fight, didn't they? Or 2 fights, didn't they? That undisputed. But Usyk got it. And then all the other promoters, they're like vultures, aren't they? That's just how it is, isn't it? Boxing's the wild, wild west. Leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I'm not going to hammer anybody in this video. I'm just going to. I also don't want to be mega positive because it's boxing, isn't it? And you know, I worked in boxing industry for Dennis Hobson for over 6 years. And you know, I've seen a lot. I learned a lot of Dennis. He was my mentor, wasn't he? Taught me everything. Taught me other things, back to life and all that. But getting back to boxing, we know what goes on with IBF. When Dennis had Jamie McDonnell left Dennis, didn't he? He went, I'm going to Eddie Hearn. I used to call him Eddie Hills, and my family are like, just call him Eddie Hearn for a month. That's his name, Russell. You know, people started calling me Fred Blow. I wouldn't like it, would I? So, look, when Jamie McDonnell left Dennis, Dennis went British, Commonwealth, European, and a world champion with him. Had thousands invested in, about 300 grand. I swear to God, he had a fortune invested in McDonnell. He left Dennis. This is a true story. He went to Eddie. Obviously, we know what happened. And the rest, as I say, is history. Within a few weeks, we know what happened, don't we? Dennis knows. Eddie knows. Dennis had him stripped in a bit. IBF, that belt took off him. That's a true story, that. And I was like, wow, these promoters, they really run boxing, don't they? It shocked me. And obviously, I got to see all what were going on behind the scenes with lawyers and this and that. Obviously, I'm not going to repeat any of that stuff because I've done it. There'd be Range Rovers pulling up here with teams of people, and Dennis would be sat in back of one of them going like that. Trust me, these things happen. No, it wouldn't happen to me, would it, Dennis? No, seriously. Jamie McDonnell got stripped, didn't he? It wasn't the IBF that stripped him. It was Big Ron that stripped him. Promoters have got power, and the sooner people realise that, the better. I think so as well. Oh, strong. So this is how I look at it. Joshua and Dubois are going to fight for Usyk's leftovers, aren't they? Usyk gave him it willy-nilly, but he never really had a choice, does he? He's not a promoter. Promoters run boxing. That's the bottom line. They do. Anthony Joshua were WBC top man, chasing Wilder down, wasn't he? What happened? We all know what happened, don't we? Once Wilder became champion. Joshua jumped from the WBC, didn't he? Because he had the WBC international belt. He jumped from that to IBF. Why? Because they were an easier route for him to get a belt. Because he had a bit of a chin problem, didn't he? A bit weak around the whiskers. We call it here in West Midlands. That's what somebody told me tonight at Dogs. I went to Dogs dinner at Perry Bar. This guy said to me, yeah, that Joshua had a weak around whiskers, one he pork. I said, yeah, he was. So, by hook or crook, these promoters are going to get these boxers, they're going to get them belts, aren't they? Obviously, you got Joshua a belt. The rest, as I say, is history. They got Olympic gold medal. They got him a belt. They basically bought him it. And then commercial money comes in. It's about money. And it took me a long time to realise that. A long time. But, we realise it. It's about money. It's like Gary was saying to me earlier. It's a business, isn't it? It's a business. It's not about what's right and wrong. It's a bit like selling drugs, isn't it? Somebody gets in your way, you fill them in, don't you, if they owe you money? It's business, isn't it? It's not about, well, you can't fill him in. He owes me $1,000 and he's got kids. People are not bothered in that business. And you're going to get some fist, aren't you, if you owe money? And it's just the same in this game. You're getting fist legally in ring. Boxing is the only place where you can legally die in the ring and nobody goes to jail. Because an hour before a fight, both fighters sign a form with doctor to say, I am fit to fight. Barring drugs and performance enhancing drugs in the system, if you're fit to fight and you die, the other person don't even get a parking ticket fine, which is, what is that, 50 quid, 60 quid, whatever it is. So, but Don Charles, he's dropped on Annie with Dubois, getting back to the original point. Don Charles has dropped on with Dubois, and they've had a belt via email. Is he a paper champion? In my opinion, yes, he is a paper champion. Simon Jordan saying, well, he beat Ergovic, blah, blah, blah. Ergovic wants a champion. He never had a belt. It's Usyk's belt, Simon Jordan. This is where you slip up. I'm not saying you're a well-educated kid who's got a few quid. You've got a platform there, but you don't know boxing like people like me and other YouTubers know it. The Boxing Asylum lads, Terry Chappendama, can name them all. Is it that the Irish kid G-Man? He's good, isn't he? Man, they're good boxing YouTubers. The YouTubers that have got access, like the young kid, is it Charlie Parsons? Have you seen his interview with Eddie Earn yesterday? Has anybody seen that? Go look at the first 10 minutes of it. It's just, well, go and watch the first 10 minutes of his channel. It's on Stomping Ground. It's just, well, what am I going to say it? Because if I say I'm a hater, I'm bitter, I'm jealous, or whatever, I've got enough on my plate to be chasing Eddie Hearn around England and UK. But just go have a look at what's happened to that young lad there. Because when he started in this game, he was a bit starry-eyed, wasn't he? And he was really good with his questions and all that. Go and have a look what's happened to him. He's been softened up. I call it grooming. Don't associate that with out naughty. I'm saying grooming as in he's been softened up, hasn't he? And that's what these people want, these promoters. They want kids that are not going to push them. Not going to push them, are they, with questions and that. Carl Froch can push Eddie, wouldn't he, if he had him on his channel? But Eddie's not going to give him that moment, is he? Not now. I'd push him to death. Some of my lot off at commission would as well. I'd just ring them all up and say, right, send me all your questions and we're going to ask Eddie Earn. I'd be tied in knots. Rico's already tied him in knots. He gave me some questions a few years ago when it looked like there might be a chance. When I was sticking billboards up, but it petered out, didn't it? Because they know I'm going to go for him. I go after him and tie him in knots. A bit like Joe Cordina's gone after him, hasn't he? What could he do? And they've got screenshots and this and that on the phones. Hey, what could you do about that? But that's by the by it. Let him get on with it. All we want to see is good fights. And Dubois Joshua was a good fight, innit? But it shouldn't be for that belt, should it? It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, and it leaves a bad taste in a lot of fans' mouths. That's how I look at it. That's how I look at it. 2 seconds. Put some ice cubes in it. Put some ice in it. That's better. Can't drink ice, can you, on an evening? On a late evening. So Daniel Dubois, I make him a favourite to beat Anthony Joshua for the simple reason he's just a better fighter, isn't he? Really, all round. Younger, fresher. That's how I look at it. I think he's a better fighter. But what can you do? What can you do? But Don Charles has dropped on, hasn't you, Don? Daddy Don. He's dropped on. And quite rightly so. He's put his time in, hasn't he? So why not? Why not? Good luck to Don Charles. I don't agree with some of the things Don Charles has done in his career, like Derek Chisora, letting him go 6 times or basically sacking him and taking him back 6 times. I mean, how many trainers out there would do that from the UK? Not many. Not many I've met. I don't think my pal Chris Smedley would do that. I definitely know Peter Fury wouldn't take somebody back 6 times. But money talks, doesn't it? And sometimes money comes before anything. A lot of these trainers nowadays are mercenaries, aren't they? I don't think Joe Gallagher would take somebody back 6 times. I don't think it'd happen. Scott Quigg's training people now on Crawler. I don't think they would as well. I'm not saying they're too long in tooth, but I just don't think they're them type of kids. I can understand there's somebody taking somebody back once, but not a second time, but 6 times. So, what a harsh saying Don Charles as a brass a few months ago. No, I don't think I were, but who am I to say that? He might, I don't know what his story is behind the scenes. I ain't apologising for it, but it's not something I'd do. Okie dokie. I don't know. It's one of them, innit? Is Turkey, this Al Sheikh guy, is he now calling the shots? Or is Eddie and Frank calling the shots? You don't look at that situation. I look at the Warren family and the Hearn family, and they can't stand sight of each other. Some of the things that have gone on in the last 40 years blow your mind. Absolutely blow your mind what they've tried to do to each other. But isn't it funny how when there's a few quid on the table, everybody wants to be besties, don't they? I don't know. What do I think to it all? I think they've properly shown themselves up. Me being a coal miner, so I'm looking at it from outside. I think they've shown themselves up, but you've got to do business with people you don't like, aren't you? They can give it that one and they can give it the old, we've got to do it best for our fighters. I can see that, but they could have worked together, but all that shaking hands and being in the same room and out for meals and all that and group hugs. Come on, do me a favour, lads. I'll stand by what I said the other week on here, or was it last week? Can you imagine having them as your co-accused when they turn just like that for a few quid? So if they turn for a few quid, they'd definitely turn for the freedom, wouldn't they? So, not my kind of people, but I think they've shown themselves up, personally. But it's business, isn't it? And sometimes in business, you have to be like that. I've got a pal, I'm not going to mention his name on it. He's sent me a couple of texts the last couple of days, and he's of the opinion that it's money in it and you've got to do your best. But yeah, not me. That's not for me. But I'm not them, am I? So who am I to criticise? Can people in the industry stop with this Billy Joe Saunders porky comeback talk? Yeah, I agree. Stop. Billy's put too much weight on. He's been out at ring too long. If he comes back, he'll get knocked about. Simple reason is Billy's been out at ring now 3.5 years in November. So if he gets a fight, say after Christmas. He'll be going approaching 4 years out at ring. Your body becomes, you become humanised, don't you? You become humanised. You go get Carl Frotcher whacking the stomach 10 years ago, you won't be able to budge him. You'll be able to whack him as hard as you can. You just sit there and take it. If you give him a whack now, average man won't be able to hurt him. But a super middleweight world champion will be able to put him down with a body shot now. If he said, go on, then give me a whack. They put him down because you become normal, don't you? You can train all the time and that, but you're not fight fit, are you? Carl can look good aesthetically, walking around 13.5 stone, but he's not fight fit. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders will be fight fit. That's my opinion. So I don't want to see Billy come back, because if he came back, he's not going to challenge Charlo, is he? To be middleweight king. He's not going to want to rematch Canelo because he get beat, won't he? He's going to come back and probably tarnish his legacy. You know, he's got an area title, British, Commonwealth, European, and World Championship, hasn't he? 2-weight champion, WBO, albeit WBO. And I don't put Billy in that drug bracket of failing a dope test, even though it's on his record. A lot of people know that it wasn't down to Billy that. So I'm not coming on here defending him, because he's done a lot of horrible things, hasn't he? Or things that you'd think, I don't want that person around me, kind of thing. But if he comes back, he just tarnishes his record. And if he comes back, it's just a gimmick fight against Eubank, innit, really. So would I like to see him against John Ryder? No, I think he's finished now. I don't think Billy's going to challenge any super middleweights or middleweights and beat them, the top guys. So I don't want to see Billy come back. I'd like to see Billy find something else in boxing, maybe as a trainer, not as a manager. I think a trainer, and give something back. But we're going to see, aren't we? Spotty Frank, aka Frank Smith. Eddie's running around saying he's a millionaire now. Yeah, Frank Smith's a millionaire now for matching. Was one of the youngest millionaires in boxing. Got a massive house built in Essex there. Really good, apparently. He's done well for himself, hasn't he? He's going on about the Crusher situation. Conor Benn, and Frank's saying that it's going to be sorted in a month, and the word is it's going to be a backdated ban, and that's what they're working on now. But we've been hearing that for 26 months. Oh, this is happening, that's happening. They've not shown us anything, no dossier. So let's see the dossier. Frank's saying this, but how can we believe anything they say? Because there's been that many announcements about what they're doing, and it's been going on for over 2 years now, and I'm even bored about it myself. I mean, I drove my children mad last couple of years when I've been in the company, and people have been on phone to me about it, or I've been filming, or they've been in house with me while I've been filming, or up at the studio in Rotherham, and even they're sick of it. Oh, not Crusher, Dad. Oh, not Eddie. Oh, God. Oh, not Dillian Whyte. No. It just goes on and on and on, doesn't it? Look, I can't say boxing. I can't tell boxing people what to do. If there's silent bans, isn't there? And if there's non-disclosures, what can I do? I can't get people to talk about it. They're all the journalists now. Gareth A. Davis, Spencer Oliver, Simon Jordan. They all know what's going on, but their hands are tied, aren't they? They don't want to get legal issues and stuff like that. Nobody wants to take me on legally because I ain't got out, have I? They're not getting out of me anyway. I just tell them to F off. And don't poke his corner on the other channel. So I don't know. What can you do? It's people are getting punched in the head. They're getting punched in the head. And they're punching other people in the head on performance-enhancing drugs, and everybody's trying to protect them because these fights get a few quid. It leaves a bad taste in my mouth, that Conor Benn one. How they led fans a merry dance, didn't they, really? They were going to put that fight on and not tell anybody. And then when it got cancelled, and they could have cancelled it earlier, couldn't they, in year? 3 months before. When it got cancelled, the drug test, the first one was July, the fight was October. And then he failed another one September. Then it got cancelled, didn't it? Beginning of October fight week. It should have been cancelled in July, but they tried to keep it hush. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth. All them fans who went to London from all over Europe and that, on train, on plane, driving, some coming over from other countries on ferry. They came to London, didn't they, for that weekend? They didn't get the fight they wanted. That leaves a bad taste in my mouth, but nobody mentions that now, do they? Nobody mentions it. So the promoter's got away scot-free. So I'm hoping they come down heavy on Conor Banks. He failed 2 dope tests, and the right punishment would be to hammer him, wouldn't it? If they can give Liam Cameron 4 years, why can't they give Conor Ben 8 years for 2 charges? Liam's were cocaine, it weren't performance-enhancing drugs, and it was something he took after the fight. So I don't know, but Spotty Frank saying that it's all going to be sorted in next few weeks or so, or next month, but it is what it is, isn't it? So we'll finish off on this one. Turkey, this Al Sheikh guy, this Saudi guy, he's saying he's going to put a 20 quid cap on pay-per-view. Well, why couldn't Eddie and Frank do that? If he's going to do that, why couldn't they do it? Why? Why not? Why not? They couldn't do it for us, could they? Why couldn't they give us Joshua Fury when we wanted it? Eh? Why not? They just couldn't do that for us, could they? Because they're about money, aren't they? But now they're not in charge now, either. This Turkey's calling shots now, and Eddie's come out and said, well, I don't mind him calling shots, we're getting paid. So all along it was about money for them. You know, when he preached legacy, Eddie preached legacy, didn't he? Yeah, it's about legacy for Anthony Joshua. All roads lead to undisputed. Anthony Joshua has not been in an undisputed fight yet, has he? But all roads lead to it. Well, he's been how's it been? 2012, he won gold medal, and all roads led to undisputed. He's not been in an undisputed fight yet. Over 12 years later, since Olympics, he's still not been in an undisputed fight. But all they've preached is undisputed, stay hungry, and what other slogan? I don't know, so be humble, all that, be humble, stay hungry, and it's all about all roads lead to undisputed. It's just waffle for sake of waffle, isn't it? But that's them, innit? I can't change them. I can point things out. It's up to fans, isn't it? It's not up to me, innit? I'm not the judge and jury, am I? I can just point you in the right direction. And if people can't back that, that's up to them, innit? That's up to them. I'm not a boozer, me. I'm not a boozer. Bombay gin. Not for me, that. I'll have one and then off to bed. I think. It'd be a late one tonight, I think. That's about it, really. What we got here? That one's on next one, isn't it? You know, I've got a banging headache. Right, that's about it. We'll do part 3. We're just gonna we're gonna drain the main vein. Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Don't forget to watch our sister channel, Porky's International. All right, we've had a good bunch of videos now. Now that I'm supposedly settled down here now, can get back to doing the business. Instead of doing one a day, feed you all 3 a day, eh? There's plenty for you to go out this week, isn't there? Well, peace out.